When I first began to study the teachings of Sigmund Freud, I never imagined they could guide me toward a mentality of abundance and wealth. Freud was not a financial advisor, nor did he write about money directly, but what he revealed about the human mind, the unconscious desire and repression, holds the key to unlocking prosperity in life. Think about it. How many times have you dreamed of success, of financial freedom, of living without limits, only to find yourself sabotaging your own progress? Freud would say that it is not chance. It is your unconscious mind at work. Hidden beneath your awareness are beliefs, fears, and repressed desires that silently shape your decisions. I ask myself, what beliefs about money do I carry in my unconscious? Do I secretly feel guilty about wanting more? Do I associate wealth with greed or corruption? These were uncomfortable questions, but necessary ones. Freud taught us that repression does not make desires disappear. It only forces them underground, where they continue to influence us in destructive ways. So, if you want to attract wealth, the first step is this: bring the unconscious to light. Every time you feel resistance to success, every time you hesitate, procrastinate, or talk yourself out of opportunities, you are experiencing the voice of hidden beliefs. Instead of ignoring them, I began to write them down. I treated my journal like a psychoanalyst's couch. I asked myself, when I was a child, what messages did I hear about money? Did my parents fight about finances? Did I grow up thinking that being rich was for other people, but not for me? These questions expose the invisible walls of my mind. Freud called this process making the unconscious conscious. And once I saw these hidden patterns, I could choose differently. Here's the truth. Wealth does not begin in the bank account. It begins in the mind. Freud showed us that our behavior is not random. It is directed by inner forces. By understanding these forces, I realized I could redirect them. Instead of being controlled by fear or guilt, I could align my unconscious with my conscious goals. So, I wanted to pause for a moment. Ask yourself right now, what secret beliefs about money might be holding me back? What unconscious guilt, fear, or doubt is shaping my financial destiny? Stay with that thought, because once you begin to uncover the truth, you unlock the first key to wealth, self-awareness. And with awareness comes freedom, the freedom to choose abundance. Freud often said that human beings are driven by desire. Some critics thought he was exaggerating, but I have come to see the truth in his words. Desire is not something to be feared or suppressed. It is the very engine of creation. Without desire, there is no growth, no invention, no progress. And without desire, there is no wealth. But here is a paradox. Many of us repress our true desires. We are taught to be realistic, to settle, to stop dreaming too big. Freud would call this repression, and it creates inner conflict. We want more, but we also feel ashamed of wanting it. The result? Self-sabotage. I remember a time in my life when I longed for financial independence, but at the same time, I heard an inner voice whispering, "You don't deserve it. Money will change you. People will judge you." That conflict kept me stuck. I was working hard, but I wasn't moving forward. My desire was there, but was buried under layers of fear. Freud's insight helped me realize something powerful. Desires that are repressed do not disappear. They find other ways to express themselves. Sometimes through anxiety, sometimes through procrastination, sometimes through choices that keep us small. So, I began to honor my desire instead of silencing it. I started to see wealth not as greed, but as energy. Freud taught that energy, what he called libido, can be repressed or redirected. If you repress it, it becomes destructive. But if you channel it, it becomes creative, transformative, abundant. Ask yourself, what do I really desire? Not what I think is acceptable, not what others expect of me, but what do I truly long for in the depths of my being? When I finally admitted to myself that I desired wealth, freedom, and the ability to create impact, something shifted. The guilt began to dissolve. The repression lifted. And I felt a surge of motivation, unlike anything before. This is a second key to wealth. Give yourself permission to desire. Desire is not the enemy. It is the compass. It shows you where your soul wants to go. Freud believed that when we repress desire, we suffer. But when we face it, embrace it, and direct it, we unlock our true potential. So here's the challenge. Stop judging your desires. Instead, listen to them. They may be the voice of your future self, calling you toward abundance. One of the most important lessons I learned from Freud is that resistance is not the enemy. It is a message. Freud observed that patients often resisted therapy. They would avoid talking about painful memories, change the subject, or even stop coming altogether. At first, I thought resistance meant weakness. But Freud revealed that resistance is a sign that something important is hidden underneath. Think about wealth. How many times have you set a financial goal only to stop halfway? How many times have you avoided an opportunity because of fear, doubt, or procrastination? That's resistance. And Freud would tell us, resistance is not random. It is the unconscious defending itself, trying to keep old patterns alive. For me, resistance showed up in strange ways. I would delay important projects. I would feel sudden fatigue when it was time to make a sales call. I would find excuses not to take risks, even when I knew they could bring me closer to success. At first, I blamed myself. I thought I was lazy or undisciplined. But then I realized resistance is a form of self-protection. Freud taught that the unconscious resists change because change threatens a familiar. Even if the familiar is poverty, struggle, or limitation, the mind clings to it because it feels safe. That was my turning point, understanding that resistance was not against me. It was trying to protect me. So how did I break through? By leaning in. Every time I felt resistance, I asked myself, what am I afraid of losing if I succeed? The answers were revealing. If I become wealthy, will people envy me? Will I be judged as selfish? Will I lose the identity of being humble or simple? Those unconscious fears were running my life without me realizing it. Here's the truth. Wealth requires us to outgrow old identities. And the unconscious resists because it doesn't want us to let go. But once I saw the pattern, I could thank my resistance for protecting me, and then move forward anyway. This is a third key to wealth. Treat resistance as a signpost. It shows you exactly where your growth lies. If you run from it, you stay stuck. But if you confront it, you unlock power. So I ask you now, where are you resisting wealth? Where are you holding yourself back because of unconscious fear? Look closely, because the moment you face resistance, you are one step closer to abundance. Part 4. The ego, the superego, and the wealth mindset. Freud's model of the psyche, ID, ego, and superego has been criticized, simplified, and even mocked. But when I applied it to wealth, it became a powerful framework for transformation. The ID is our instinctual drive. It wants pleasure, comfort, and immediate gratification. The superego is the voice of morality, society, and family. It tells us what is acceptable and what is not. And the ego, it is the mediator, the one trying to balance the desires of the ID with the demands of the superego. Now imagine this battle when it comes to money. The ID might whisper, buy it now, spend it all, enjoy life today. The superego might shout, money is evil, ambition is wrong, you should feel guilty for wanting more. And the ego is left in the middle, confused, stressed, and paralyzed. I realized that this inner conflict was draining my energy. I was either spending recklessly ID or feeling guilty about ambition, superego. Neither mindset built wealth. So, how we transform this battle? By creating a strong, conscious ego that aligns both sides toward abundance. I began to retrain my ego with simple practice, reframing money as a tool for good. Instead of seeing wealth as selfish, I told myself, money allows me to support my family, create opportunities, and serve the world. Suddenly, the superego stopped punishing me, and instead of letting the ID chase instant gratification, I redirected it. The real pleasure comes from long-term freedom, not short-term spending. Freud would say that the ego's job is to turn blind instinct into conscious choice. And that's exactly what I did. I stopped being pulled back and forth by unconscious voices. I chose a new narrative. Wealth is responsibility, freedom, and service. This is the fourth key to wealth. Balance your psyche. Don't let the ID drain you with impulse. Don't let the superego shame you into smallness. Train your ego to lead with wisdom, aligning your desires with your values. So, let me ask you, what does your ID whisper to you about money? What judgments does your superego shout? And how can your conscious self, the ego, create a new balance that serves your abundance? The moment you answer these questions honestly, you begin to build a wealth mindset rooted in inner harmony, not inner conflict. Freud once said that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. For a long time, I thought dreams were just random images, meaningless flashes in the night. But when I began to see them through Freud's lens, I realized something extraordinary. Dreams reveal our hidden desires, and those desires can guide us toward abundance. Think about it. Have you ever dreamed of success, of standing in front of a crowd, of holding the keys to your new home, or of traveling the world? Those dreams are not coincidences. They're your unconscious showing you what you truly long for. But here's the problem. Most of us wake up, laugh at the dream, and dismiss it. Freud would tell us that's a mistake. When I started writing down my dreams every morning, I noticed patterns. Some dreams revealed my fears, failing, losing money, being judged. Others reveal my hidden hopes, being free, creating impact, living abundantly. At first, it felt strange to take dreams seriously. But then I realized, if my unconscious mind was sending me messages, why would I ignore them? So I asked myself, what if I turn these dreams into strategy? Freud taught that unacknowledged desires don't disappear. They simply push against us from the shadows. But once we bring them to light, we can act on them consciously. I began to map my dreams into goals. A dream of freedom became a strategy for passive income. A dream of being admired became a strategy for building a brand. A dream of generosity became a strategy for investments that serve others. The shift was incredible. Suddenly, my unconscious was no longer sabotaging me. It was guiding me. This is the fifth key to wealth. Listen to your dreams. They are not nonsense. They are blueprints. Use them to uncover your deepest motivations, and then transform those motivations into action steps. I want you to pause for a second. Think about your last dream. Did it contain struggle, success, fear, or victory? What if that dream is telling you exactly where your unconscious wants to lead you? What if your next level of wealth is already being whispered to you in the night? The truth is, wealth begins with desire, but it is completed with action. Freud showed me that the unconscious provides a fuel, but I must provide the steering. Part 6, Building a Lasting Wealth Mindset, Freedom from Inner Chains. As I continued this journey with Freud's insights as my guide, I came to the most powerful realization of all. Attracting wealth is not just about money, it is about liberation. Wealth is a visible result of an invisible process, freeing the mind from repression, conflict, and self-sabotage. Freud believed that repression is the root of much human suffering. We hide our anger, our desires, our ambitions, and in doing so, we create anxiety and frustration. But what if repression is also the reason many people never achieve wealth? What if we are unconsciously repressing the very drive that could set us free? I discovered that true abundance required me to release those inner chains. I stopped apologizing for wanting more. I stopped repressing my ambition. I stopped silencing my desire for freedom. Instead, I embrace them as natural, powerful, and essential parts of who I am. But here's the secret. Wealth without inner harmony leads to emptiness. I have seen people who made money, but lived in constant fear of losing it. Freud's teachings reminded me that real prosperity comes when the unconscious and the conscious are aligned, when desire, belief, and action move in the same direction. So I built daily practices to keep myself aligned. Self-reflection. I still write in my journal, uncovering hidden beliefs and releasing them. Dream work. I keep paying attention to my night visions, using them as guides. Reframing wealth. I remind myself daily that money is not evil. It is a mirror of my energy, my creativity, and my contribution. Inner dialogue. When the superego judges me, I reframe it. When the ID tempts me, I redirect it, and I strengthen my ego to lead with clarity.